Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Do you make white jokes?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been guilty of it.
I don't think it's possible to be racist towards white people.
Racism was invented by white people.
Why do you think it's more accepted in society to make jokes about white people?
Because they make jokes about the rest of us.
White people have never gone through any oppression.
So the question I want to ask is it okay to be racist towards white people?
I still struggle with this myself. Despite their ancestral impact on America, it's not right to put all of them in that box.
I don't think it's okay to be racist towards anyone. White people are still people.
It is possible to be racist towards white people as well, yes.
I don't think you can be racist towards white people.
What do you mean by that?
Racism was invented by white people. You can't take it out of historical context. So historically, there's been one race that has more power in the system. Racism was invented by white people to protect white power primarily.
Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Bryan. On February 23, 2020, Ahmaud Arbery, a young black man, went for a jog in Satilla Shores, Georgia. Little did he know that his life would be cut short in a racially motivated hate crime. 3 white males took him for a burglar and pursued Ahmaud in their trucks, blocking his route as he sought to flee. What happens next is shocking and disgusting. In one vehicle, Travis McMichael and his father, Gregory McMichael, were armed, while their neighbor, William Roddy Bryan, was in another vehicle. Travis McMichael exited his truck after overtaking Ahmaud and assaulted him with a shotgun. Travis McMichael fatally shot Ahmaud as he sought to defend himself. Bryan's cell phone captured the altercation and Ahmaud's murder. It only gets more frustrating from here. Despite the Glynn County Police Department's prompt arrival, no arrests were made for more than 2 months. That's right, 60 days these men lived freely. The GCPD received directives from the Waycross District Attorney George Barnhill and the Brunswick District Attorney's Office on 2 occasions not to make any arrests. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation did not make any arrests until the video of Ahmaud's murder went viral on social media. Local authorities' treatment of the case aroused global indignation and sparked questions about racial profiling in the United States. The act was criticized by several religious leaders, politicians, athletes, and other celebrities.
Ahmaud would have just turned 26.
He could have been my son.
He could have been my brother.
He could have been me.
Former Brunswick District Attorney Jackie Johnson was indicted for hindering law enforcement and displaying partiality to her former deputy. Georgia Attorney General Christopher M. Carr publicly requested the Federal Bureau of Investigation's assistance in the investigation. After all that, let's see if justice was served. The 3 men were tried in November 2021 and found guilty of felony murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to conduct false imprisonment. They were sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole plus 20 years, while Bryan was sentenced to life in jail with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Do you think these men showed remorse for their actions in court? No. The men showed no remorse or reaction as their sentence was read. Following the murder of Ahmaud, Georgia enacted hate crime laws and repealed and replaced its citizens' arrest law. These heinous acts aren't only limited to Georgia. Wait till you see what happened when Oregon witnessed a racially motivated crime, this time by Russell Courtier. This is Russell Courtier. In August 2016, Russell Courtier, a white supremacist prison gang member, ran over Larnell Bruce Jr., a black adolescent, with his Jeep, killing him. The incident occurred outside a 7-Eleven in Gresham, Oregon, just outside Portland. During a violent altercation with Bruce, Courtier got into his girlfriend's Jeep and drove towards him, striking him and causing serious injuries that resulted in Bruce's death at a nearby hospital. During the trial for this case, things got interesting. During his trial, prosecutors pointed out that Courtier had a racist desire to be part of a brotherhood, which led him to join the European Kindred Gang. Prosecutor David Hannon stated that the life sentence was warranted, since the jury determined Courtier was, quote, motivated by his opinion of Mr. Bruce's skin color or race. To make matters worse, Russell was found to have a European Kindred tattoo on his leg. The European Kindred is the largest racist prison gang in Oregon, and Russell Courtier was proud enough to tattoo the gang's shield on his leg. When the tattoo was brought up in court, Courtier's lawyer had this to say.
So, given that it's about almost 20 years old, and given that it's the largest organization, has the symbol EK or European Kindred Shield, has that found its way seeping into kind of Oregon community as a whole, where people might recognize that shield if it was worn outside?
Bruce's family was present at the sentencing. Bruce's birth mother, Christina Miles, addressed Courtier saying, "You let the devil lead you astray and take the life of such a lovely young soul. Why? Could you explain why?" Despite all of the evidence presented about how racist Russell Courtier was, his mother still had this to say in defense of her son.
It was not motivated arrest. He probably didn't even think about that the whole time. He's never been racist. We have, like I said, I have a friend that I've known for like 35 years. Her family is black and white mix, and they call her Aunt Betty. She's black.
Courtier's girlfriend, Colleen Hunt, admitted allowing Courtier to use her Jeep to track down Bruce. She pled guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 10 years in prison for her role in the crime. Courtier was found guilty on 3 counts of murder, failure to execute driver responsibilities, and violating Oregon's hate crime law. He was condemned to life in jail after a lengthy legal battle, with a minimum of 28 years before he is eligible for release. While nothing can bring Bruce back or erase the agony of his loved ones, this punishment should serve as a reminder that hate crimes have no place in our society, especially for people like Jeremy Christian. This is Jeremy Christian, a self-proclaimed white supremacist. In May 2017, hundreds of people boarded a full Green Line Max train headed east into Clackamas Town Center on a bright spring day. What was supposed to be a typical drive quickly turned into a nightmare. A drunk Jeremy Christian began hurling hate speech and biased language at 2 black teenage girls, one of whom was Muslim and wearing a hijab. Witnesses reported that Christian continued to yell about decapitating heads, and the train operator even threatened to call the cops if he didn't stop. Passengers on the train, including Micah Fletcher and Talisan Mirdin Namkai Mecha, implored Christian to stop yelling at the girls. But the situation swiftly deteriorated, and Christian stabbed Fletcher, Namkai Mecha, and a third passenger, Ricky Best, within 11 seconds. Best and Namkai Mecha died under horrible circumstances, while Fletcher was hospitalized with a big gash across his throat. Christian attempted to flee the train with the knife, but was apprehended and admitted to the stabbing. The tragedy stunned the entire Portland community, leaving many wondering how something like this could have happened. One of the casualties, Ricky Best, was an Army veteran and an employee of the City of Portland's Bureau of Development Services. "I can't stand by and do nothing," his son said, quoting his father. Micah Fletcher, another victim, was a Portland State University student at the time of the incident and spoke about how Portland is supposed to be a community where people can be protected.
I want to apologize to my family, quite frankly, because I don't feel like I've been able to be there. I am so busy trying to heal myself. I have not been able to basically go home for 3 years.
He stated that he still has nightmares from the day of the attack. During the trial, Christian started cursing and threatening to kill a relative of the deceased, who gave a victim impact statement. His outburst led to his being removed from the court. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without parole and an additional 25 years for other crimes after being found guilty of 12 counts, including first-degree murder, assault, and hate crimes. Christian showed no remorse for his crimes and even tried to justify them. But that wasn't the case for Kayla Norton and Jose Joe Torres. This is Kayla Norton and Jose Joe Torres. Kayla Norton and Jose Torres, both members of the white supremacist group Respect the Flag, were sentenced for a racist attack on an 8-year-old black child's birthday party in Georgia. The assault featured racial obscenities, firearms threats, and the flying of Confederate battle flags. Norton, Torres, and other Respect the Flag members went on an alcohol-fueled racist binge in Douglas and Paulding counties, west of Atlanta, in July 2015. A month after a racist shooter massacred 9 worshipers at a historically black church in Charleston, South Carolina. And it didn't stop there. The group threatened black motorists before arriving at the outdoor birthday party. Phone footage of the attack shows cops attempting to form a barrier in front of the families as the trucks sped away. Following the attack, a Douglas County grand jury indicted the Respect the Flag organization as a street gang. Norton sobbed in the courtroom during the trial and apologized to the victims' families. She told the court that she accepted responsibility for her acts and apologized to the families who had attended the birthday party in the courtroom.
I would never walk up to you and say those words to you, and I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Superior Court Judge William Bo McLean sentenced Torres to 13 years in prison and 7 years on probation, and Norton to 6 years in prison and 9 years on probation. Both are also barred from entering Douglas County. This is Edgar Ray Killen. Edgar Ray Killen was an American Ku Klux Klan organizer who planned and executed the 1964 assassinations of 3 civil rights activists, Michael Schwerner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney. Killen and a number of armed men, including the deputy sheriff of Neshoba County, plotted to assassinate the 3 civil rights activists and murdered them. The state of Mississippi made very little effort to prosecute the perpetrators then. Still, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy and the FBI launched a thorough investigation. An all-white jury heard a case in the Meridian Federal Courthouse in 1966, convicting 7 conspirators and freeing 8 others, including Killen. Over 2 decades later, an investigative reporter named Jerry Mitchell spent 6 years writing extensively on the case and aided in the convictions of other high-profile civil rights-era murder cases. Mitchell gathered additional evidence and found new witnesses in the murders of the 3 civil rights activists, eventually compelling the state to act. Mitchell found new prospective witnesses, developed a website, lobbied the United States Congress, and focused national media attention on reviving the case with the support of high school teacher Barry Bradford and 3 Illinois students. The students even got Killen to give his only taped interview concerning the murders. He was seen to be knowledgeable, aware, and sticking to his segregationist convictions. Killen was eventually convicted of 3 counts of manslaughter in state court and sentenced to 60 years in prison, which he began serving in June 2005. But it didn't end there, and wait until you hear this. Killen filed an appeal, alleging he couldn't use his right hand and was chronically bound to his wheelchair. He was bailed on a $600,000 appeal bond. Still, a deputy sheriff later observed him wandering around freely, and Killen was returned to prison. The Mississippi Supreme Court upheld Killen's conviction in August 2007. Killen died in the Mississippi State Prison in 2018.
逃したか。